This is what I eat in a day to keep a lean, aesthetic physique year round. And I don't even track my calories or macros, and I still have high energy, high testosterone, and am still building muscle in the gym. So every morning I wake up at 5 a.m. and the first thing that I have is a scoop of protein powder, a scoop of creatine, and a scoop of spirulina. And I'll mix that with water and down that straight away. The reason I do that is because I've been deprived of protein for such a long period of time. So I wake up at 5 a.m. and I go to sleep at around 9 p.m. and I'll finish having dinner the night before at about 6 p.m. So I've been deprived of protein for, what's the maths? Like 10 hours. And so you just need that protein hit in the morning to get that muscle protein synthesis process kicked off again. And I know a lot of guys will struggle with hitting their protein intakes. So it's just such an easy way to get that protein in quickly and effectively. Now, there are people that say protein powder is bad. You might have seen an Instagram reel or a TikTok that says protein powder has been so heavily processed and it's ruining your gut health or something along those lines. Now, while there might actually be some level of merit to that, you've always got to think about things from the perspective of pros versus cons, the benefits versus the negative. And with something like protein powder, the pros severely outweigh any of the cons. So let's say those cons are things like ruins your gut health, whatever. The pros though are that you get such easy protein in. And for the vast majority of people, it's not going to have any severe negative effect to the point of ruining your physique goals. Protein intake is one of the most important things for muscle building, if not the most important thing, apart from training, I would say. So to stop having protein powder and potentially sacrifice hitting your protein targets because you're worried about gut health or some marginal benefit you might get from switching out protein powder for something else that might be very hard to do, might actually lead to you not hitting your protein intake. And so that's why I think having protein powder in the diet is still good and effective. Then I will have a tablespoon of raw honey. So raw honey is good for your immune system and it actually boosts testosterone because it contains something called luteinizing hormone. And when you have more of that hormone in your body, it signals to your testes to produce more testosterone. And I also use the honey as a pre-workout paired with a shot of espresso coffee. I personally prefer the raw honey and coffee combination over something like a pre-workout because pre-workout has all of these like cancerous ingredients in them. I'll put it on screen now and I challenge you to even pronounce some of those words. And as I said, I train first thing in the morning. I used to be someone that would skip breakfast and fast until about lunchtime. But because I'm training in the morning, I just need to get something in before I hit that session. If you're busy with work or school or studying or something, the best way to go about training is doing it at the start of the day, doing it before you have to go to work. And that's in the morning. Because if you come home from a whole day of working, then you are just so tired and your output in that gym session is going to be so much lower compared to if you did it first thing in the morning. And I just like to train with something in my system. So for me, it's coffee, tablespoon of honey, and that protein powder mixed with water. And that gets me through my gym sessions. So after coming home from the gym at around 7:30 in the morning, I have 6 eggs and a protein smoothie. So the eggs are good for boosting your testosterone. And they obviously contain protein as well. You've got about 36 grams of protein in the eggs. Cholesterol is a precursor to your body producing testosterone. So it's good, contrary to popular opinion, to actually have a level of cholesterol that you're eating every day. It's also a very cheap meal to have, and it's very easy. Cracking eggs open, mixing them, putting them in the pan is one of the simplest meals you can have. And it's also one of the most nutrient-dense foods. The protein smoothie that I have has milk, frozen berries, which are strawberries and blueberries, a scoop of protein powder again, a banana, 2 scoops of collagen, and honey again. And this protein smoothie is like a dessert for me. Whenever I used to finish the gym back in the day, I would always go to Subway and get a foot-long sub with those cookies that you can get from Subway as well. And I looked like this. So it's a much better approach to stay natural in the foods that you eat. And by the time it's 7:30 in the morning, I've already had 66 grams of protein, which is more than most skinny fat guys eat in the entire day. The average daily recommended protein intake by the government is like 60 grams of protein. And think about it, I've already eaten over that amount of protein by 7:30 a.m. And by the way, if you're interested in a full guide on nutrition, I have a program, that's the link in the description below. Then it will get to lunchtime and I will have normally 2 chicken thighs, which is 300 grams of chicken thigh, and 150 grams to 200 grams of roasted white potatoes. The chicken thighs that I use, I will coat in specific seasoning that I like. So you'll be either Portuguese style chicken seasoning or spicy Southern style chicken seasoning. And these two are available at Woolworths in Australia if you're in Australia, but I'm sure you can find a similar version wherever you are in the world. But the point is, the spicy Southern style chicken literally tastes like KFC. And normally when I see people online or just in person for that matter, say that the foods that they eat that are clean, natural, unprocessed, taste like a certain type of fast food, I'm normally very weary of that because most of the time, if you see an Instagram reel where it's like, cook these chicken tenders, KFC style, 50 grams protein, low calorie, I'm automatically suspect because how does it taste like KFC unless you're putting all of these processed random ingredients into it that are going to absolutely kill your testosterone and your gains in the gym? But this seasoning literally has no seed oils, no processing, and none of those random ingredients that actually go into KFC. Some seasonings actually have seed oils in them, which are oils that actually reduce your testosterone levels and mess up your gut health and cause a lot of inflammation throughout your body. But this seasoning has none of that, and it's all just natural ingredients that go into the seasoning. I also opt for chicken thigh fillets as opposed to chicken breast because I've tried eating chicken breast and it is just the driest thing in the world, especially if you're meal prepping chicken breast. When you warm it up in the microwave, like it's already dry enough in the first place, and then just sticking it in the microwave maybe 3 or 4 days after you've cooked it, it is literally so difficult to get it down your throat. Like it is the driest thing ever. So I've put that to the side for now because it's just not something that I can stick to. It's not sustainable for me. So I opt for chicken thighs, which are fattier and are a lot nicer and more pleasant to eat. And this is my staple lunch, the chicken thighs plus potatoes. I will eat this 98% of the time. And I've eaten this lunch probably over the past 2 years for 98% of my lunches over the past 2 years, which is pretty crazy to say, but I think it just goes to show how good the lunch I make is. If I've been able to stick to this one lunch over 2 years, like I've obviously hit the nail on the head in terms of the taste of it and how I go about preparing it. It also makes it just so much easier because I know what I'm eating every single day. I have it prepared. It's what I meal prep every Sunday. I know where to go in the supermarket to look for it. I know the seasonings I'm going to use. I've mastered the cooking process so that I'm efficient with it. And so it just takes out all the mental bandwidth that you might otherwise be spending on thinking about what you want to cook and then actually executing what you want to cook. And that can take a lot of effort and time. And people always say to me, oh, don't you get bored of that? Again, I love it. I can stick to it. It's sustainable for me. And it makes the process a lot easier. I genuinely enjoy eating the chicken thighs and potatoes. So it doesn't have to be unenjoyable. You can make foods that you enjoy eating that are still clean, natural, and unprocessed. And eating this way has made it so easy to stay shredded all the time. But on the off chance I'm not eating chicken thighs and potatoes, I'll be eating a meal of beef mince, rice, and avocado. And again, you've got heaps of protein in that. You've got a bit of carbs, and the avocado are healthy fats that's going to improve your testosterone levels and your energy levels. Then at 6 p.m, it is dinner time. And this is where the real magic happens of my diet. It's my biggest meal by far. It's the most amount of calories, most amount of protein. But again, I don't track any of this. It's just the sheer volume and quantity of food that I eat is highest at dinner time. So I will usually mix this up. I'm not as robotic at dinner time as I am at lunchtime, but there are options I will choose from. It will be either 2 steaks that are ribeyes grass-fed, and that will be total about 500 grams of steak. It will either be beef mince again, but just more of it, so 500 grams of beef mince, or close to a whole chicken. It sounds funny to say because people think that the amount of meat that I eat is ridiculous. But again, this is just the normal way that humans have eaten for the past millions of years. Like we have evolved of eating meat. So people are shocked at like how much I eat meat-wise and protein-wise because of these random targets that are set by the government in terms of what average protein intake per day should be. And guess what? The average person is skinny fat. So why would you listen to average nutritional advice for average people? So I will pair either the steak, the beef mince, or the chicken with white potatoes again, more potatoes this time, so probably around closer to 500 grams of potatoes, and then some kind of vegetable. That will be either bok choy, broccoli, or whatever greens there are. I don't really care about the greens that much. So as I said, this is a big dinner. This is my most amount of food that I eat in a day. And I eat more food at dinner time as opposed to lunchtime because if I have too heavy of a meal at lunchtime, I become automatically way more unproductive. I need to work during the day. And so if I have a huge lunch that's full of carbs or full of calories, I'll get to 3 p.m., 4 p.m., late afternoon that day and just crash. My brain will not work properly. I will not be able to focus on whatever task I'm doing. And I'll just feel way more sluggish if I eat more food at lunchtime. So I opt to keep the lunches quite light so that I can focus throughout the rest of the day after eating that meal. I also opt to eat quite early as well for most people's standards, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And I do that because I wake up quite early and I need to have a sufficient amount of time between eating dinner and going to sleep so that I can digest that amount of food that I ate. Because if you're going to bed very quickly after eating, it ruins your sleep. It makes it harder to fall asleep and you're not getting as deep and restful sleep as you otherwise would because during your sleep, your body is working to digest the food that you've just eaten. So if you're going into sleep having already digested, you can enter a much more relaxed, restful phase of sleep. And that again feeds into higher energy levels throughout the rest of the day, better testosterone levels, better muscle growth, a better ability to lose fat as well and stay lean. And so if there's one big takeaway from the way I eat, I think it's that you need to just eat more meat. Number one, because you probably need to get your protein up. My dinners, I will eat close to 100 grams of protein every dinner, which sounds like a lot. That's more than people's daily intakes that I have in 30 minutes of eating at dinner time. But you need that to stay lean and build muscle. You also need it because protein is the most filling macronutrient. If you eat 200 calories from protein versus 200 calories from carbs or fats, you will be most full if you have the protein. Even though the amount of calories you've eaten across all 3 types of macros are actually the same, but protein is more filling. So you're less likely to overeat after eating protein compared to if you're eating more carbs or fats. And then after eating my main dinner, then I'll opt for sometimes a dessert. And no, I'm not eating Krispy Kremes or McDonald's soft serves. I eat frozen fruit and I'll put it in the microwave, warm it up for 2 minutes. Normally I opt for frozen mangoes or frozen berries. And when you heat it up in the microwave, you can almost form this kind of like jam, coulis kind of thing. And I reckon it just tastes like pure heaven. So if you have a sweet tooth, try that out. And sub all of your cakes, your donuts, all of that crap for berries and fruits. Literally tastes the exact same. You have the same level of sweetness and you're not killing your testosterone and you're also eating in a way that will keep you lean and muscular for the entire year. So my protein total on an average day of eating is 228 grams of protein. It might sound ridiculous, but who cares? I stay lean all year round. And again, it comes back to those points of I would rather eat more protein than less protein. And protein is a much more satiating macronutrient than all of the other ones. So it makes sense to eat more protein to keep yourself full so that you stay leaner and don't overeat. And again, by the way, if you're looking for a full guide on nutrition, diet, fat loss, muscle building, I have a program. That's the link in the description. So if you learned anything from this video, please consider subscribing. We're getting to 20K subs soon, and I will see you in the next one.